Alright, cool. Alright, I'm just gonna broadcast it on my stream. That makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
That way I can just not screw around with it. Okay, so let me go over the basics real quick. Obviously this is for the Edge of the Water 4 2015 video game tournament, which bridges the fighting game and League of Legends scene. Now, we have quite a few casters for both, which is friggin' awesome, because I don't care how many passes I give out as long as everything runs smooth. Alright, so just to go over the basics, fighting game tournaments are going to have a tournament bracket style, MLG rulings. I'll go over the positions and the participation in a little bit. The judging, the runners, posted tournament progress, and of course us casting. That's the best part, right? We're the best part.
That's what I figured. I thought it went without saying.
So positions and participation, we're going to have runners or judges who will be constantly monitoring the games, making sure nothing's going crazy. If anything happens, somebody runs over there to rectify the situation as soon as humanly possible. That way we make sure everything's running on schedule. This is going to be very schedule oriented this year, which is cool because that means not everybody's going to be sitting on their thumbs. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part about that kind of shit. Whenever there's like all this downtime, because we're like, "Where's Foxy? No scope 420? Is he here? Oh, I think he's jacking off. All right, we'll wait 15 minutes."
Yeah, see, we're not gonna wait 15 minutes. We're gonna make sure it's very tentative as far as the scheduling, and so that way everything runs fast. Like the judges are going to be the pushers of the whole thing. Like they're gonna make sure everything runs quick. The runners are going to be volunteer. This isn't actually for you guys. This is for everybody else. You don't have to manage shit. You don't have to worry about anything. All you have to worry about is speaking. That's it. Honestly, your job is super simple. You sit down, you bullshit, and you have fun.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Yep.
So there's runners and then there's casters. Everybody in the call is a caster, right?
Yeah, we're all casters. So. We're not fucking around with the rest of their stuff yet. I forgot about this. Keep each other in check. Our main focus is to keep our shit flowing like the Dead or Alive franchise. God, the worst reference ever. That's pretty much not for us. League of Legends tournament, Shoutcaster judges and Oxford commas, stream management, interviewers, which we're not actually doing any interviews, network management and supplies. Actually, we might do interviews depending on the situation.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, the situation with the voice actors, I mean, would that be possible to have an interview with them?
Oh, that would be cool. I mean, you'd have to go to their table and talk to them.
I mean, yeah, I figured they're going to have, obviously, a panel and some other shit, but...
As long as we bring badges, we can just go up there. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. The easiest thing to do, usually they don't leave, they don't really do anything, like, they don't go anywhere else, like, they don't chill out, except for in the main lobby. And so, like, if you wanted to go and be like, hey, you want to come do an interview? And, like, coax them into the game room, like, just be like, come here. Come closer.
We have cookies.
Yeah, even though we don't have.
I left the trail going to the cast. I'm like, you, he's a king.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you.
Like, oh, hey, the voice of Goku. What? Oh, you follow my trail of M&M.
I also happen to have a van. It says free candy outside.
Yeah. All right, so just to go over everybody involved, it's going to be the judges, make sure postings go up, things run smooth, and computer problems get resolved. That's their job. We're also going to have runners who are going to make sure that the ladder things go on. So they're going to actually be getting the problems resolved ASAP. They're going to be our bitch. Like, if you need something, you talk to a runner. I have 2 runners so far. Every other spot's been filled up except runners. So they're going to be our bitches. It's going to be great. Alright, so Shoutcasters, be manageable on stream, rotate with other Shoutcasts, assist with fighting game finals, all that fun stuff. That's actually copy-pasted from last year, but I'll go over that a little bit more. Supplies and network management. don't think anything else matters really here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. So we have people that are actual technicians for like the technical side.
As far as what?
Like, let's say something's going wrong where let's say one of our mic goes out.
Yes, that is what the management side is for, and the runners. I will usually have replacements and stuff like that, and a reserve and a surplus. So the runner's job is to rectify that as soon as possible. The judges are obviously working on the game side, and then we have maintenance, which is all the people from the setup crew. The setup crew comes in on Thursday. We set everything up. We get everything ready, and then that's pretty much it. Their job is done, except for at the convention whenever they're around. If we need something, we call them over and they help us.
And the setup crew is John, Francisco, and who else?
John, Francisco, my buddy Adolfo, and my buddy Robert.
Okay.
And they are... Last year, Adolfo did all the networking. Well, actually, all of them did the networking. They were all there. So it's the same crew as last year, and everything went perfect last year. So pretty much anything that we need at the given time, like they'll come in and check with me, like, hey, is everything cool? You know, like all the time. So it's badass. All right, I don't remember what this says. Get anyone you can to attend for the fighting game tournaments, and for anything else, we'll be doing the donate a PC, receive a pass ordeal. I do not know who the hell the guy is that's going to be doing whatever he's doing. I don't remember what that's from. Oh yeah, if somebody walks up to you and is like, "Hey man, can I cast? Hey man, can I do that? Can I do that?" Don't say yes ever. Just say, "Hey man, sorry, we're running on a schedule, and if you'd like to try out for next year, or if we need some interviews for stuff, I'll get in contact with you, like for later in the day or something." But we don't want random dipshits casting. Pretty much, I had that happen last year, and
are you talking about that Bruce guy?
No, Bruce is okay. Like I have him pretty much as a just in case kind of ordeal.
What happened last
guy
year?
in the TF cosplay.
Yeah, huh?
I don't remember who it was. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember which guy you're specifically.
Well, I don't know. Bruce was there. Yeah, Bruce was in the TF cosplay,
Yeah.
but there was some other kid that wanted to shoutcast, and it was just gross. And I was like, please stop.
Bruce is the guy that wore the buttons and the beanie and had the high pitched voice.
I mean, either way, you see the problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, so sponsors. We're still looking for sponsors to get some more cheap advertising in for them. Let people know. Have them contact me, either email, Facebook, text message, anything. If you don't have my number, you can get a hold of it pretty easy. I think it's on Facebook. Let's find out. Shoutcasting. All right, this is the fun part.
Awesome.
Now that we've gone over all the basics of the convention, now we're going to go over all the basics of the shoutcasting and what they entail. This hopefully will help you improve a significant amount, especially when shoutcasting with another human being. That is the key. The problem with most streams is that you see one person talking, and it's very, very challenging whenever you're used to either having someone else talk or having yourself talk and allowing someone else to talk as well. So I'm going to go over some of the basics. Proper conduct, hands, eyes, body language, body positioning. You want to make sure that your hands are used constructively. You don't want it to be too distracting. Like quit tapping the table where everybody can see, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Your body language should match whatever's going on with you. I have a fucking webcam. There we go. Cool. All right, so this fucking cam sucks my balls. Why did it turn off?
It hasn't even loaded for me yet.
I know, it hasn't loaded for me either, and that's because it's on my fucking
wow.
computer. What a piece of shit.
Alright.
Fuck you. Alright.
Alright, we tried.
Back to Donkey Kong.
Alright, so there's me after a nap. All right, so the basics, what I mean by that is whenever you're casting, you want to use hand motions that aren't too distracting and in your personal space. So what's going to happen is you want to avoid anything crazy, like just use your basic hand gestures to speak. I have this on the stream so that way they can see it at least, and then you guys can, I don't know. But my point is, try to avoid doing like excessive stuff, like where you're rubbing your nose at the same time you're trying to speak, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Are you on a stream that we should be watching right now?
No, it doesn't matter. You're on the Skype call. It's just that
You made it sound like you were like, oh, you guys are watching the stream. I thought that's what you said.
No. I'm recording it, and so that way they can watch it later. Whoever missed it.
Okay, I got you.
But you know what I mean? Like whenever people public speak or in speech class, they always like tell them, look up at your audience, do this, do that, all that fun stuff. That's pretty much what you're going to be doing. So let me try to think as far as what else needs to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that actually is kind of creepy. It's good to make like some like if you're talking, it's really important to kind of like look or like at the webcam or somewhere around the webcam,
right?
But to not just completely eyeball the camera the entire time, because that shit looks weird and creepy.
Yeah, no, I'm going over that too, don't worry. All right,
cool.
So here's the other things as far as proper conduct. Like I said, your hands. As far as your eyes go, whenever you're talking to another caster, your attention should be on the other caster. Don't talk to the audience. Don't address the audience. What you're doing is you're showing the respect to the other person on the camera with you, so that way you two are involved in a conversation and everybody else has the liberty of listening in. That's the big thing. A lot of people will just stare at the camera while they're doing it, and it's kind of awkward because then it looks weird as fuck. Like,
yeah, total fedoras, bro. Yeah, I think like a good way to think about it is that you have to consider the webcam to be a third person.
Right, exactly. The webcam is a third person. You're exactly right.
Right. So if I'm gonna hear and having a conversation with Damon, and you know Sean is the webcam or something like that. If I'm talking to Damon, I'm looking at Damon.
You look at me, goddammit.
Yeah, and if I'm talking to Sean, I'm like, you know, I'm looking at Sean making a point, you know?
Right. Exactly. So, on that regard, I want to talk about body language and body positioning. Now, the thing is, if you're talking to the camera, obviously you're going to be facing straight forward, but if you're talking to your partner, you're actually going to shift your bodies towards them, so that way your shoulders are slightly shrugged towards their direction, and it's very clear who you're addressing. That's part of the body language and the body positioning. It's not a huge ordeal. I don't expect everybody to do it right away, obviously, but it becomes easier because then you focus on what you're doing whenever you're facing that direction, as opposed to just turning your head, and then there's less, because everybody's going to be able to hear you no matter what direction you're facing. You have a microphone on your face. So that's the main thing as far as that goes. Now, during the casting itself, you have interrupting, apologizing, giving way, and response. And what this little list is you want to avoid interrupting anybody. If you do not apologize. Just keep going with what you're doing and keep speaking. Don't just cut someone off for no reason. But if you do, don't make it a big apology. But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Don't make it a big apology.
Oh, there you
So,
broke the first rule.
example being somebody's analyzing like the complexity between two builds from like a Riven and a Gnar, and then a fight breaks out.
Right,
Right?
that is interruptible. Something like that is completely interruptible, but you do not apologize for that. You keep casting. The other person has to give way, and that's what the giving way part's for. They have to make sure that if something that they're talking about is more important at that given moment, they have to allow you to speak. So in your mind, you have to just make the decision, is what I'm talking about more pertinent to what's going on right now? Like, say, for instance, you're going off about how somebody's somebody's round that they just had was really awesome and blah blah blah, and you're just S-ing that D real hard, and then something else happens and you're starting the next match, well, you kind of want the other guy who's doing the match startups to speak now, so you kind of let them if they start interrupting you. Response. So the part that means the most is the response. So if you are casting and it almost has like an open end where you need to fill in, you have to be able to respond properly and efficiently. Otherwise there's dead space, and we want to avoid as much dead space as possible. Am I correct in saying this?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, gives a little eerie silence, like, hello?
Right, exactly, and nobody wants that. And just like I chimed in right after Max said, oh, hello, you have to make sure that there's a gap to where it's like a definitive change between each speaker, and there's enough time to where everybody's like, oh, we're re-listening to what someone else is saying, and it just keeps the audience very engaged and very, you know, in the know as far as what's happening. So like I said, I'll go on to the next part. Like I said, we're at a convention. There's going to be a fuck ton of distractions, guys. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, God, yes.
It is a nightmare. There's going to be random-ass people coming up to you, asking you questions while you're casting. And it is going to be, what time is Marvel?
Do people actually do that?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so...
Oh, no.
Oh, dude.
Like, guy walks in, hey, where can I sign up for a tournament? And because the camera's not on me, I look at him like, are you stupid? And I'm just casting, but I'm giving him this look like, really, dude?
Hey,
I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Oh shit, we just talked about that.
Oh, dang.
Damon brought up a good point. Can't we rope off this section so people don't just come up to us and fucking be dumbasses?
You'd be surprised. We had them roped off.
Yeah.
Is this a rope? I'm just gonna jump over this thing. This obviously is important.
They must have misplaced this rope. Yeah, it shouldn't be here.
Well, it's not necessarily a rope, but there's tables blocking the area, but you still get people fucking talking to you.
And the best part is, there was a sign behind him saying, sign-ups and times here. Like, all I did was just look at him and point while I was casting. That's all I did.
Yeah, I got rid of this rope for you. It is obviously in the way.
Hey, people.
Dude, it was pretty bad. Like, so what you need to do is just make sure that, like, if you can on a situation, switch what you're doing and just kind of like distract them by like pointing, like, hey, go over there. Like, try not to address them too much is my point.
You want to make sure to not make sure not to be negative or have too much of a negative vibe, because that affects the stream.
Right, exactly.
You'd be surprised how easily people are get an impression of you that's bad based off of really dumb shit. Like if some kid comes up, hey, do you know what time it is? And you're just like, hey, fuck off. And you like point away or something like that. Then the people are just like, man, that guy's a dick. Like
I always do that.
No, he's talking like a little kid.
No, fuck that kid. No, I'm just kidding.
People watching it's like, oh, that wasn't very professional, or that guy is being an asshole. I don't like this guy.
Right. And the thing is, like I said, the distractions, ignoring them is the key, and doing it in the most professional manner is what's the main thing. The proper conduct, the whole thing is professionalism. So the more professional you can be overall, the better, and then we're good to go. That's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Anybody have any questions on this, or can I go to the next section?
That seems pretty straightforward. I'm good.
Cool. All right, so here's the fun part. Here's what it comes down to. There's 3 types of casting: play-by-play, color casting, and post-game. A lot of people have questions about, oh, what the hell is this? Isn't that like what John Madden does? Yeah, it is like what John Madden does. So the play-by-play is the primary speaker on the broadcast. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're the most important person, but you're the one to start everything. So you're the first one during a match to actually say something to get it engaged for the audience. So that's what your role is. You prepare before things to talk about them as they're happening. And what that means is that if you notice that there is someone playing a game and some shit's about to go down, you brace yourself and you're ready for it. Like, you're like, oh shit, this could happen. You're not mentioning it, because what you're doing is you're going through it as it's happening. The hardest part is articulating and describing the play during the action. And what I mean by that is, say for instance you were casting like Daigo and Justin Wong's fucking, you know, parry situation with the whole fucking how they're like, oh yeah, it's really putting a lot of pressure on him in the corner, blah blah blah, and they're doing that shit, and then it's just the crazy play where he just starts parrying. What you're doing is you're commenting on things as they're happening, and that's pretty much your entire job, is being able to differentiate what's going on and being correct about it. So
yeah, wouldn't the, like an example would be, let's say there's a Street Fighter match and the other guy doesn't have any EX or something like that, and he doesn't have a way in. It's like, all right, he's trying to zone him out. He'll probably look for a ruffian kick and FADC into Ultra One. You know, you kind of want to like talk about what he's either thinking about or what he's trying to do.
Incorrect.
No?
Nope. What you're talking about is the stuff like he's putting a lot of pressure on him right now during the game. If you notice, he's throwing out Hadoukens from this spot, like as it's happening, is what you're doing.
Oh, I see. Not making predictions, but commenting on exactly what's happening.
Correct. Now, the color casting is the other guy, where during the dead periods between whatever's going on for you, say for instance it's a very stalemated match where they're just throwing fireballs. You mentioned they're throwing fireballs back and forth. The color caster comes in right after, and he's like, yeah, supplementary information or comments, you know, like, yeah, he's really building up a lot of EX bar. He needs to do this and that and this and that. Otherwise he's gonna get rushed down. Like, that is that guy's job.
Okay, so what I was saying earlier is almost like color. Is that like color casting then?
Correct. That is the color caster's job, is to come in with analysis, strategy, statistics, and some light humor. That is the color caster's job. What you do is you give the logic behind the actions, the play-by-play, and explain what was going on during that. So say for instance a big play happens and the play-by-play caster is like, oh my god, you know, like fucking Ryu just EX linked up into an Ultra and took off so much of his health. Just a crazy counter to that whatever just happened. And then the guy's like, yeah, you know, you could almost see it coming because of the way that blah 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 happened, and it looks like in order for him to come back in this match he's gonna have to do etc etc etc. Like, that's that guy's job. You know what I mean? Bouncing
off the other guy.
Exactly. Your job is to bounce and reinforce anything that's going on and things that could be going on. So it's the primary speaker isn't necessarily the most informed person. The color caster actually has the most information, to be honest. The primary speaker is just the person who kicks it off and is talking in the now. They're both extremely important. So, does anybody have any questions on color casting or primary casting?
Do you have to be black or white?
Play. You don't have to be John Madden or anything either. Well, you see, on the 50-yard line, that's in the center of the football field, and that's what makes everybody go crazy about football, you know, because you got the turf, you got the ball, you got the players, and then you got to take the ball and get it down into the end zone, and then once it's in the end zone, that's how you play football, you know.
That's right, John, and you can't forget that those players also have feet, which makes it football. Oh.
Dang. Actually, handball is what it should be, because American football's fucking retarded. But anyway, so obviously it's very easy. Like, say for instance somebody's casting fucking Rocket League and nobody really understands Rocket League that well. You know what I mean? At this point, Rocket League's very new.
No. Like, the casters were good, but you could tell they didn't know the techniques or anything like that. You know, they could just barely explain what was happening on screen that was obvious.
Right.
Like, during the grand finals I'm sure you saw it, right?
Yeah, I watched it, and it was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So, the only thing during stuff like that is we're going to have noobs. We're not going to have people that are better than our casters usually. So what's going to happen is the person doing the play-by-play is going to talk about how this person's doing this person's doing this, and then the other person's going to come in like, oh yeah, you know, he's really wasting his boost. He needs to store his boost a little bit more, otherwise he's going to get fucked in the end. Like, you know, stuff like that. So that's the play-by-play and the color. The play-by-play is saying, and it looks like this guy passing the ball, trying to clear it out from the goal, you know, just other things like that. And then the color caster is like, yeah, they're really going to have to change up their positioning on the field. Maybe have one guy stay a little bit further back, otherwise they're going to get behind, blah, 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 stuff like that. So those are the two primary roles as far as something like that goes. The main thing is, as your color caster, just the logic behind the actions have to be explained. Like, that's half of your job, is explaining what's going on. And even if you can't fully explain it, for the most part, you just have to put it in terms where everybody can understand. So I'll go over the post game and how all of this ties in real quick. So post game, both casters talk between each other, exchanging conversation, addressing each other, and talking amongst themselves about the game, attempting to figure out what happened and why. Always, you want to address the audience before the next round starts, or say, for instance, we're promoting something. Like, at this time, guys, we're going to have this tournament. Stay tuned, you know, stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're addressing the audience occasionally. Talking amongst each other. During the games, there's not going to be a cam on you at all, so you don't have to worry about any of that crap. I think we only need 4 webcams total, and that's it. Actually, I think we only need 3 webcams total, and that's it. But anyway. So the main thing on post-game and all that fun stuff is play-by-play, color casting, post-game. So everybody's going to have the opportunity to do both. It's just, you have to make sure that you know what your role is before you start, so you don't overlap the other person and try to do their job. The main thing is just doing your job as best as you can during each cast and keeping it as professional as possible. So does anybody have any questions?
Nope, sounds pretty good. I guess just commentate on what's happening and bounce off of each other properly, respect each other when you're talking unless something extreme happens.
Right, pretty much. Well, I mean, you're still supposed to respect them, but you're not supposed to drag out the apology, pretty much. Like, if you're like, oh, sorry, all right, guys, we're getting into this, you know what I mean? Like, the job is still there, so you want to make sure that it's rapid, it's quick, and it's getting done to where the audience is the most important thing. Like, that's the bottom line, is the audience is the most important person. So.
Right. Yeah, to fill in the dead air, and I think just like mutual respect between the two people, like if, you know, me and Damon were shoutcasting together, we fucking know each other, like, so we can bounce off of each other really well. It's kind of awkward when you have 2 casters. Like, if you've ever watched like a Twitch tournament at some place and it's like just 2 casters that obviously haven't even met before, they don't know how to, you know, bounce off of each other because they're still kind of feeling each other out, and it's like awkward or something.
And the other thing is they're not deciding who's doing what either. Those are just 2 random dipshits on a stream that were just entered in the tournament that they were playing in, and now they're casting for it, and they're doing a terrible job because A, they don't know which role they're doing, and so there's a bunch of shouting amongst each other, and they're doing the whole like, oh, and they're both yelling oh into the microphone for no fucking reason, and then it's like a dead awkward silence. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Kind of like me last year.
So as far as everything goes, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions primarily about specifics?
When would be the best time to like show out sponsors?
I'll go over all that at the actual event. We don't have any sponsors yet, so we're still waiting on that. But for the most part, should be good to go.